Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet you all at last, and welcome back to HGN and Flying with the Foam. And now for today's little discussion on things. I really gotta say, most Nerf blasters that I've talked about have either been good or bad, but there has not necessarily been one that I've pretty much seen to be directly in the middle. So of course I feel obligated to try and find one out there, and I feel like I have at some point. So we're at number 631, and the blaster that I picked out to see if it does fit within the middle, the Zombie Strike Clampdown. So I will point out directly that, well, it's as basic as you can get. Just a one-shot blaster with a nice sort of jolt-like vice grip down here. This is, after all, stylized to look like one of those clamps that you can use to pin stuff together. And I feel like that the aesthetic that they went with here, the design right here, has almost been perfected in a way. The small size is certainly one thing, but I can't really say too much about it. It's as basic as it can get, therefore it's a guarantee to be mediocre. Because I guess one other thing is, look at how low the draw is on this thing. So if you just look right here, yeah, that's at least a full inch, which is usually shorter than the majority of jolt-like blasters out there that have this sort of pull-down action of the rod right here. And the priming rod usually does go down a bit longer than this. I suppose it's probably because of this little stuff right here that stands between the very tip of this and also the actual plunger tube, which sits within this little part right here in the light gray colored plastic with a matte finish to it, whereas everything else is sort of a slight kind of satin or gloss. I mean, if you hold it up to a certain light, then well, it's possible that you can tell the different colors and the different spectrum as well as different finishes from within, but overall, again, it's pretty basic. And the name Clampdown, I can't really say for sure why they chose a name like Clampdown, just so they can make it look like a clamp and all that, because, well, of course most clamps would actually screw together like this, but not in this regard. I guess they just wanted to make it look like one rather than act like one, using this priming rod as a way to imitate the kind of rod that would appear on the outside of a clamp when it comes to the range of its pressure. So, I guess this was kind of short, but I will point out right away that with all the Zombie Strike blasters that I've reviewed already, in Aftersaught or otherwise, it just goes to show that there are really many ways that Hasbro could go about the zombie apocalypse sort of theme. They've made a grinder-based blaster called the Ghoul Grinder. They made a nail gun kind of blaster called the Nail Biter. Maybe I'll get to that sometime earlier here in HJN. And then of course there were many other innovations that they put together. But overall, the usage of a clamp probably was not the greatest approach that they could have gone to, but I guess they needed something to do with their time. And, okay, twirling is not bad after all. So, of course, this is just slight mediocre. May not necessarily nestle directly in 5.0, but it is pretty close, in a way. Well, anyways, that's pretty much all I got to talk about here on HJN, Flying with the Foam. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel, and make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.